Hi, I'm Brian.
And I'm Nancy, and welcome to Stitch Up. But, you know, as soon as I figured out that my Novi jacket wasn't going to work, fortunately, there was another contest coming up, the lined jacket contest
on Pattern
PR.
Review, yeah.
Right, on patternreview.com.
True.
And, but I did finish it, and I'm pleased to say that this, with the exception of one jacket that I made this winter that did not have lapels on it, which we'll talk about another time.
Yeah.
This is really the only wearable jacket.
This is like your first jacket where you would be
truly wearable.
Really proud to wear it out, and someone could come and take a look, and you would, you know, there's no part of this that you would be hiding.
No. I think the test is, could you wear this out snoop shopping at the best store in your town?
Yes, and feel like the salespeople could look at your jacket and not think that you made it yourself.
Correct.
People who know wouldn't know that it was homemade.
Correct.
Not that there's anything wrong with home crafted.
No. But if you told them that you made it yourself, they would be very impressed.
Oh yes.
They would ask you, "Will you make one for me?"
Exactly.
And so really, this is the first one. And last time, it had been completed except for the lining, the bound buttonhole, and the welt pockets. Those were just chalked on.
That's right. I remember the chalk.
Yes. And this time, we did do the pockets, the buttonhole, and the full lining. And it is now completely done. The only thing that's still not done is I have not sewn up the hole in the lining,
right,
for where you bag the lining.
And you wait until you're absolutely sure.
Absolutely sure.
You don't have to do anything else.
Correct. It might get another steam pressing too.
Oh, do you steam press it? Oh, that would make sense.
I mean, you know, a final. I mean,
yeah.
you press your garment while you're constructing it. You give it another pressing right before you line it, because that's the last point at which you really have access to all the inside seams. In other words, you know, before the lining goes in, you can access everything in a jacket. Once the lining is in, you can't get at the reverse side.
No.
And then, you know, you want to touch it up after it's assembled before you take your photographs.
Absolutely.
I sewed the jacket itself, and that's including everything from shrinking the fabric to interfacing. The entire jacket is interfaced, cutting the fabric, constructing the entire bodice, including the sleeves and the collar and lapels, in about a day and a half.
It's really, you know, once you get it down, you know, and you're not doing a lot of fitting with it, it's really fast. It really doesn't, you know.
But it took me just as long to do the welt pockets, the two welt pockets. I was going to say, how long did the welt pockets take? And the bound buttonhole. The welt pocket took a day to do. Now, I did have to practice.
Yeah, that includes all your practice time to do it.
But that was not the first time I've ever made a welt pocket.
How many welt pockets do you think you've made? Actual pockets?
Actual pockets, I would imagine I've made about 20.
I was going to say about 20.
20, yes. And the bound buttonhole took almost a day. And the key part of sewing a welt pocket or a bound buttonhole is, have you positioned it properly?
Right.
Because you can always remove the lips, the welts, and re-sew them. But once you cut that slit, you are committed. And
you're cutting it. Now, you did the pockets and the buttonhole last?
I did do them last. You were supposed to do them first.
But if you don't have the jacket done and you haven't made that, you know, you're not sure about placement, it's really hard to do that. You know, you have the pieces of fabric, you don't really know where they're going to end up.
That's very true.
You know, you have to...
You don't know, especially if you're doing a pattern that you created yourself.
Exactly.
Or there's no guidance for placement.
Right.
And if you are fussy enough so that you want it to be perfectly placed, not just for the style, but for your particular body,
Yeah, exactly.
you know. So that's why I didn't do them last. Now, when I make this jacket again,
You'll know
I'll know.
where to put them, and do you put them on after you've just had those two panels basically sewn, and then you put them on right then? As soon as that seam is sewn, you can put them on?
As soon as the first seam is sewn.
So you could do those. You could do the
yes.
very second thing you did basically in your jacket construction.
You know, this is the muslin that I made for this jacket.
Oh, yeah.
One of the 6 muslins.
So it took you 6 tries.
It took 6 tries, but I would say a good 4 of them were because of inappropriate fabric choices. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes, what makes an appropriate fabric choice. But after, you know, even before you have this whole thing assembled, you could just sew it when these 2 pieces.
Yeah.
The front
just
and the side
those 2
front.
pieces. You could just have 2 pieces of, you know.
Yes. You'll notice that the welt pocket crosses this front seam line.
Right.
And that's allowed. You just can't end the pocket at the seam.
No, that would look kind of
That would look
odd.
tacky.
Yeah. It actually makes it look more intricate having it cross the seam for sure. Which
And
doesn't make it harder necessarily.
No,
It does give you a nice spot to help you line up everything if it does cross.
it gives you a spot to line things up for your template. Because I drew,
Yeah,
I
you
think
got your,
last week I showed how I drew
have
the
your
seam
seam.
line. I don't know if you can see that here. When I do my review for this jacket, it's going into the jacket contest. I will have photos of the template for anyone.
So you're going to write the review in the next couple days then? How many more days are left in the contest?
The contest ends on October 1st.